This is LA's first.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. We're all about manifestation, transformation, and breakthroughs. It's time to claim your birthright of prosperity, vitality, and love. So grab your tea or coffee because together we're awakening the world. May you live your truth. What if I were to tell you that you could call upon your future self, your wise self, the aspect of yourself that has all the wisdom of all of life? If you do, you want to listen to this podcast. Welcome to the Dr. Erin podcast. We come together to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, and align with universal law. We truly believe and know that when somebody awakens, they have a gift and message to bring to the world. And together, we're awakening the world. So welcome to the Dr. Erin podcast. I am a doctor of divinity, teaching and training and developing world-renowned spiritual leaders. We certify and train people in spiritual coaching, E4 trauma method, subconscious reprogramming, metaphysics of mind, past life regressions, so on and so forth. And we develop spiritual practitioners, new thought ministers and teachers, and yes, doctors of divinity. So let's do this thing, you guys. Today's podcast is called Your Future Self. And the truth is that you are ageless, timeless, and yes, you are immortal because you are not your body. And today we're going to talk about who is your future self, how to really tap into your future self and really become the truth of who you are. And so in this, I just want to say that I am celebrating my future self today because today's actually my birthday. I'm actually recording this on my birthday. I had recorded a podcast a while back that was supposed to come out today. And I just felt like my heart opened up in the middle of the night. And I was like, I need to record a new podcast for today. I don't know why. I just felt like I really wanted to share my heart with you because I am celebrating my life like you cannot believe today. So first off, I just want to say that there is a future self, and how we are evolving as a species comes down to really dealing with our DNA so that we can embody our true self, our future self. I don't believe that there's a future self. I believe there is a pure self, a true self, a higher self that lives in us deep, deep, deep within. And so many of us look to the world. The entire work of getting to our future self and speaking to our future self it's counterintuitive. We go and we look to the world, we try and escape thyself. We go out to try and find things like, fulfilling things like the next relationship or the next material thing or the next amount of money or whatever it may be out there, and the status and the recognition from the world. And that is the opposite of finding thy future self. The future self lives in the depths of your soul, in the depths of who you are, in the deep, deep breath, in that deep, deep stillness. And recognize in meeting our future self, it is one of the scariest things we can do because we have to face our deepest fears, face our hardest traumas. But in that, and when we truly face and go back into our responsibility, into the truth of how we can no longer ever be the effect of life, we come to that place, to the beloved within, to our oneness. And so our future self, our future spiritual being, our future transcended human being is someone who is understanding their oneness. The understanding that the ultimate self is one with the universe. That if we knew ourself, our true self, our future self, we would be whole within ourselves. There's a saying prophesizing that 1/3 of the population will die, 1/3 will go insane, and 1/3 will awaken. And though I'm not here to prophesize anything, I'm here to look at the reality of the mind and how we manifest the creative process and what's reality if we don't do our inner work. The future self is somebody who is empathetic. They truly are an empath. That's our natural ability. There's somebody there, obviously psychic, but don't use their psychic abilities usually to implant something into somebody else, but rather to feel someone's soul, to know that wherever somebody is projecting their own trauma onto you, that we no longer have to take it personal, that we can read someone else's soul, read their commands, read their limited beliefs, and not take it personal. but rather have compassion, to be with the pain, to be with that, to transcend it, knowing that each and every person is us. We are not separate. And so as I call upon that future self, I invite us all to take a deep breath into the nose and exhaling out, and tuning into the cosmos, knowing our future self is absolutely knows the truth that we are one with the cosmos. We're no longer here to be in our shadow and pretend that we are the effect of life. We are here to truly be intimate with thyself, no longer looking to find somebody to fulfill our intimacy, but rather to be in love with thyself, because knowing that we are love. And so today's a real big day for me because this week was a beautiful week. It was a real reflection of my future self. This week we had a huge amount of people within our community upgrade into either the coaching program or the practitioner or even the ministerial and doctorate program, which actually is one of the greatest reflections, because it's not about winning some award out there or, being on some jet or getting X amount of likes on a post on Instagram. For me, the greatest reflection is our community, which means that people really are loving one another and thriving together and getting results in their personal and professional life. This week was another huge reflection for me because I held my first oral panels for practitioner. And I flashed back into the time when I was taking my first oral panels as a practitioner. And I was very nervous because not only did I have such significance around the work, because it had completely changed my life as I knew it, but I also had such reverence for the ministers that were doing it. And the whole thing meant so much to me. So as I sat on the opposite side of panels this week, I began to get really teary in a beautiful way, just knowing the ability that we set into motion, and the practitioners that were sitting on the other side, taking their orals, and how much they had embodied the work, how profound I had witnessed from the time I first met them and they first came into our community to who they are today, and the powerful consciousness that they hold, and the ability, and can't even imagine how their lives are impacted, how their families are impacted, how their friends and all their clients and everybody. And it was one of those moments where you're like, whoa, I envisioned this and it came to fruition. And that's our future self. That's our highest self. What you hold in your heart right now of who you are and who you want to be, not only just looking in the mirror and gazing in your eyes, but knowing that every dream that you have that's been planted into your consciousness, been planted from your highest self into your subconsciousness, knowing that that's destiny. And that is your future self, which I like to call your ancient self. I don't believe that we evolve into something. I believe that we are already that we already have all the elemental equations. We already have everything in our DNA. We're not here to evolve our DNA, I don't believe. I believe that we're here to remember and make whole our DNA, releasing the trauma and transforming and transmuting the trauma that is restricting our DNA. And so I believe that our higher self and who we are, we will be birthing new generations that have extraordinary, empathetic, and supernatural, which are actually natural abilities, because we are transcending as a collective. The DNA is the code of life. The DNA is already here. We already have the secret. We already have the key. We already have all of it. It is our work recognizing that our trauma is not just our individual trauma. Our trauma has layers and layers in our lineage, in our ancestors, in all of it. And actually that is how we evolve. Our evolution is actually the deeper and deeper transmuting of trauma. So we don't actually evolve. We're already whole and complete. But what we do is we actually experience even more of the depths of our soul by actually the light and the dark of the relative of this universe. So it's actually interesting because a lot of us think trauma is bad, or we don't want trauma, or we should get rid of trauma. And that is true. But actually, that is the gift. The gift is the suffering. Suffering is grace, as we know. Suffering is grace. And it is through the trauma, it is through the division and through the divisiveness that we actually get to experience more of our divinity. We get to experience our future self, which is really, truly all of it, the dark, the light, the suffering, the joy, everything. And I know that we've been programmed to think that we need things outside of ourselves, that we need to find a person, that we need to have romantic desire, that we need to have status in class. And that is a lie. It is all within. And I truly believe that the future self will know that the intimacy of the heart is even a greater orgasm than the orgasm of physicalness. That as we go into that future self, that we know that we are transcending death. There is no such thing as death. We're not, people think, well, we'll get there when we do enough stem cells or when we're able to, we already are immortal. Look at our children. We live on through our ancestors and through our children, right? We are already there. We are already one. We are already completely empathetic and completely able to go outside of thyself in our consciousness. And so today, as you call in your future self, what is he or she like? What is your future self? You get to communicate right now with that essence of who you are. What would your future self tell you? What would they say? How would they hold you? Because what I know for sure is they're speaking through as you right now. So I just say, take another deep breath into the nose. Exhaling out. I'm just so grateful for this birthday. I'm so grateful to celebrate life. I'm celebrating you because you are me and I am you. I don't see any division in it. And today I recognize this thing called life, that there's only life. There is never death. There is only light, ultimately. There is only growth and there's only love. And I just say thank you for all the people that have been reaching out. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for our community. Thank you for all the friends. Thank you for all of my family. I am sending so much love to everyone. And I didn't want to say this, but I guess I will. So my nephew is in the emergency room down in San Diego. He's been placed in with pneumonia, and he's been coming in my consciousness all last night. And I want each and every one to know that as hard as it is, whatever we're going through, that there's only growth, that no matter what happens, we are not these bodies. And we're all here to remember the truth of who we are. So these hard times that we're going through is actually the awakening, that you cannot go through, have an awakening without the trauma, without the suffering. That is part of the growth. And I wish we, wasn't that way sometimes, but I know that's the truth. And so I'm holding him in my heart, knowing speedy recovery, and knowing no matter what happens, that it's always grace for us all to awaken to the truth of who we are, which is immortal, powerful, spiritual beings. That is the truth. So I'm knowing your future self. May you call upon your future self for support. May you call upon your future self for guidance. May you call upon your future self as your North Star for who you are and what you want to embody. And in this, I just say, may you live your truth. So my ask for my birthday is that you say yes to yourself, that you say yes to the spiritual calling. And whether that is that you decide to come into Soulciété and New Thought Global, and you decide to get developed in your expertise and doing, or whether you come in and do your trauma work, whether you do whatever, I'm asking for my birthday that you say yes to yourself, whether it may be another program, whether it be that you say yes to letting something go in your life, saying yes. I ask that you say yes, recognizing that that is the most powerful word that we have, saying yes to life, living life fully, loving fully. and doing all of our work so we can take down the walls around our heart from trauma so that we can love fully. Our job here is to love and know our oneness and not take things personal. There is nothing to fear but fear itself, right? So I love you guys. May you have a beautiful day. I know I will. I love you so much, and I'm celebrating all of our life today. Thank you for tuning into the Dr. Erin podcast. If you've had a spiritual calling or desire to get certified as a spiritual coach or a world-renowned spiritual leader, go to newthoughtglobal.com. If you've received value from this show, I would love it if you share it with a friend and give it a 5-star review. Also, we have spiritual practitioners that are trained to deliver the E4 trauma method and assist you in birthing your truth. So let's be friends on social media. Again, my handle is drerin.tv across all social media. Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth.